A night after another 2 people died from apparent heroin overdoses, we're seeing a terrible new trend in victims, middle-aged white men in Dayton and Riverside.
Heroin, as we've made opiate prescriptions harder to come by. Heroin's cheap, it's available on the street.
Ohio's Attorney General has now set up a task force to track the daily death toll.
But tonight, a state representative from Oakwood wants stiffer penalties on the books.
He's calling for drug dealers to be charged with murder if their customers overdose and die. As Kelly May explains live outside the Montgomery County Jail. Kelly?
Jack and Deb, the bill that would make that happen just passed the House Judiciary Committee yesterday. State Representative Jim Butler from Oakwood hopes the idea of a murder charge would drive drug dealers out of Ohio. But opponents say putting dealers in jail longer won't help fix the real problem, addiction.
The heroin scourge in Ohio, it's not like anything we've ever seen before. It's not an urban or rural or a suburban problem. It's everywhere.
Oakwood native Jim Butler is pushing his bill in Columbus that would up criminal charges from involuntary manslaughter to murder if a drug dealer is linked to an overdose death.
When they're dealing the drugs, it's no different than if they, poured poison into Kool-Aid and gave it to a 6-year-old, and they know that it can cause death even on the first dose.
If House Bill 508 passes, an 11-year sentence would become 20 years to life in prison if the overdose victim is an adult, 30 to life if it's a minor.
We have to protect our children and our families from these dealers, and so they absolutely have to get them off the streets and have them go somewhere else other than Ohio.
Do you think if you had OD'd at some point, they would have wanted to see you have OD'd?
Mm-hmm.
Valerie Broadbeck spent most of her 20s addicted to heroin. But the single Oakwood mom in recovery argues the bill won't help the bigger problem, drug addiction.
If you had died, would they have wanted to see the person who gave you those drugs?
They wouldn't, because they knew that it was my choice, and I always knew that there was that risk of me dying. It's awful that so many people are ODing and dying, but I think people are scrambling to find someone to blame for it, and it's not a person's problem, the problem is addiction, and putting people in jail is not the solution.
So what's next for this bill? Representative Butler says it will go for a vote on the House floor after elections in November, and he'd like to see it on the governor's desk by the end of the year. Live downtown tonight, Kelly May, Fox 45 News.